Well, thank you for joining us. We begin tonight with some new information about yesterday's deadly shooting at a West Side home. The man who was shot and killed during a confrontation with police has been identified as 25-year-old Eric Galvan. Now, police officers went to his home in the 2000 block of Rockford Drive because Galvan had been identified as a person of interest in a recent homicide. He also had outstanding arrest warrants. Now, according to information released by the district attorney's office, Galvan had a weapon that he refused to hand over. There was a struggle to take the weapon away from him, and that led to his shooting. Investigators say it's also possible that Galvan may have shot himself during that struggle. There will be a full investigation of how that drama played out. Physical evidence and eyewitness testimony, of course, will be gathered. And Police Chief Mike Markle also says a psychological component will be looked at, a component that may have influenced his officers' response in that situation. Here's our Greg Chandler now with that part of the story.
Officer-involved shootings are always under a microscope, even more so now in the wake of George Floyd's death in Minneapolis, something officers in the field are all too aware of.
This national narrative making our officers hesitant to protect their own lives because they don't want to be drugged through the media is problematic.
That was Corpus Christi Police Chief Mike Markle speaking at the scene of Wednesday's officer-involved shooting. The head of Corpus Christi's police union agrees, but doesn't think this is a new issue.
I think it's culminating to a head right now, and that this is not the beginning. It probably started several years ago.
Scott Leeton says he's heard firsthand stories of hesitation.
I actually had an officer tell me that verbatim that was involved in a shooting, that he hesitated because he was afraid that he would end up being in the news.
Officers are concerned about the media and public scrutiny which often follows a shooting or other act of deadly force. George Floyd's death in Minneapolis sparked national protests against police brutality. Leeton says those protests often weigh on officers' minds.
Once you hit that situation, I believe it's a subconscious issue that is having this problematic adverse effect on our officers.
Our officers went above and beyond to keep themselves from having to shoot. But unfortunately, circumstances here became very violent very quickly.
Leeton says officers don't come to work expecting to use deadly force, and there's no easy way to move past their fears.
I don't think there's a catch-all, end-all overall that's going to fix this. This is human nature. It's just that in our job, it's a different aspect of it.
I tried speaking with Eric Galvan's family. They declined an interview. Meanwhile, the DA's office says it will forward all of the evidence in the case to the grand jury. In Corpus Christi, Greg Chandler, Chris 6 News.
In the meantime, the police department has not released the names of the 3 officers involved in the Rockford shooting. They are all on administrative leave at this point, which is police department policy.